Hi everyone, this is Penguin Trades. We're looking at the ES futures on a 500 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So we're in this right here. This is going to be my last trade for the day. I'm just going to make this review and then I'm going to be done for the day. Right now it is 10:45 and just wanted to make this video and thought I might as well catch this because I'm going to be done anyway. So we have the overnight high up here, the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. I started trading around 8 Central Time, which is right around here. And you can see from yesterday, yesterday was just a straight range and price broke out, made this new high, and then it took all of it back, making a brand new low down here. And then it reversed. That gives us our overnight low, and it took off into this uptrend. So when price is pushing up here, what we need to consider is that it's not just an uptrend, it's also a break of this downtrend. And when a downtrend gets a break, we can expect prices to at least attempt a new low. And that's what happens right here, because as price pushes up, we get 2 attempts at a new low. So downtrend, this is the break all the way up to here. First attempt lower, second attempt lower, and then failure. You can tell it's a failure by the way it takes off there, making a second leg up, clearly corresponding to this leg. And so price continues up here. This is obviously earlier than I was trading, but this is like 5 in the morning here. But it's a good spot to get a failed second entry. So if you're trading early here and you get a failed second entry, you can absolutely look to get long and continue with this second leg up. There is some sideways action here. There's, pretty clear lows, pretty clear highs. Something to get out before the highs would, of course, be ideal. But another possibility is if price pushes above this range and then you get a 2-legged retest on top, then you can look to get long, even though this uptrend at that point would have a break and a new high. If you get 2 attempts to reverse with a bullish hold, then that's a reversal failure and you can look to get in on a failed fade. And so that's why I'd like to see a 2-legged retest there, but we don't quite get that. Technically we do actually right here, but it just doesn't set up well. We get these 2 legs out that are just pouring out of this channel, and then it goes, of course, way back into this range right here, which is not ideal. It's not really a good retest, but it does end up pushing back up, and as you can see, we just got out of that trade. So anyway, where was it? Yeah, here. So we push back out here and then it retests on top, but it gets conflicted because it's holding above this range high, but it is also rejecting the EMA, and it was right after a very bearish push down. And you just got to consider this uptrend has a break and a new high. It is considered played out, and then that led to a sharp bearish reversal attempt. And so we just got to consider this is an active reversal, and so when it's not getting above the EMA, that's really telling. It's just not bullish enough. It does end up working here, but we just don't know that in the moment. So anyway, price continues up here. This leg, as you can see, it is 2 legs on a smaller picture, but on a bigger picture, it's 1 leg. This is our first attempt at a new high. We get 2 reversal attempts, and then that fails, giving us our second attempts up to here, which, it doesn't make the new high. It just makes this triple top, clearly forming this resistance right here. And then we get this 2-legged reversal. So basically, it just played out very typically. The uptrend got a break. We got a couple attempts at a new high, and then we got 2 legs reversing. And I didn't like getting in on this. It does close above here, but it was getting very choppy, and it was right after making this double top. I just really wanted to see something better with a, hold on some clear support. That is forming there, but it's just now forming in that moment. It's not like a clean, already made level. So it just didn't seem worth it to me, and I skipped that. So anyway, after that reversal here, that of course breaks out of this range, so price pushes lower here. We reach this measured move, and it also does still hold on that exact same level there. And then we get this push up. We would want to see a clear hold above the EMA at this point. It is retesting that previous level, but I wouldn't really count on it because, this was a while back and it's already pierced through at that point. So I wouldn't just buy it simply because it's off that level, but this is a good spot to get in on a failed second entry if we can get one above the EMA. And it just doesn't, really give us that. We get a couple of small legs up here, which rejects the range low. We get this break here. We start a second larger leg up. So you can see we have these 2 legs up here, and by the time it's nearly getting to the high of this this leg right here, this expected measured leg, there's just not enough room for a two-legged retest before it reaches it. So we just don't really get a clean entry for a long here. And, sometimes that's going to happen. You'll see, a bunch of price action go by and you don't take anything. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just got to, learn to take the best trades and, wait patiently whenever there's nothing happening. So anyway, we push up here. This, of course, gives us our second bigger picture leg up. You can see this first leg, we combine all those smaller legs into one. As soon as this reversal down here fails and continues higher, that's when we draw the bigger picture leg. And so that's why we have this. It was nearly up to that larger measured move. But price pushes up. This is a good spot to see a two-legged retest on top of this measured move level. We don't exactly get a clean retest right here. You can see it's, we get our second leg down here, but this measured move right here is still very in play. And just considering how far it went down, it faded back in. I was, just concerned of it making a second larger leg down. This right here does not seem worth it to me, because what I would want to see if we don't get the two full legs down, especially if we're at a reversal area, this uptrend just played out with a break to new high. I would want to see at least 2 attempts to reach this measured move right here. That way we can still get in on a failure, a two-legged failure, that is, instead of just expecting this first attempt at a new low to fail. And so you can see here, basically what you have is a downtrend, two-legged break up to here, first attempt at a new low, and I would have wanted to see a second attempt, but I also would have wanted to see more room down to the retest of this level here. So anyway, price continues up, and we continue higher, we get another leg up. So basically this uptrend got a break, and then after the 2 attempts at a new high, the reversal attempt failed, giving us another sharp leg. And so we continue up here. We can look to get long on the way up on a clear two-legged test of the EMA. We don't get anything that clear. You get this very small second entry. That's too small picture for me, especially considering that we just got this two-legged move up. Price met the measured move. These are the 2 small attempts to reverse. I'm not going to bet on that failing and continuing higher. And so that pushes up. We get another couple legs up from there, going into this channel here, which then gets a break. So break of that channel. First attempt at a new high fails, which creates a two-legged break. So let me draw that out. And then right at that measured move, we get a more significant attempt at a new high. Now, this right here is not worth taking for a long. At this point, we have an uptrend with a break, and it kind of chopped around for a bit, but it really started getting out in this area here. And even though the 2 legs up to make the new high are these 2 legs, clearly there is something to these 2 legs here. It kind of acts like an uptrend with a break and a new high, and then we're actively getting that reversal, pushing way below the EMA. You don't want to see that when you're going long. You want to see holds above the EMA, not sharp rushes below and then it closing below. So nothing there for me. We continue lower here. We get this much sharper reversal down, and of course I just want to point out here, this measured move eventually comes into play. So as price pushes lower here, what I was wanting to see was a rush below this measured move level and then a hold below it, a two-legged retest underneath for a short to get in on the reversal. So even though price has been trending up all day at this point, we can clearly tell that the uptrend has played out successfully and it's getting a strong, sharp, active reversal. And so you can look to get in on that while it's still active. And a two-legged retest underneath this level would just be a great short. It would be great to see a reversal pattern actually holding on some support. And so anyway, it doesn't give us that. It just continues down, and then it retests this level. So this level is becoming very strong. As soon as it fires off here, that's when it's pretty clear. There's something strong to this area here. And it pushes straight up into a failed second entry. Now, yes, it had a strong hold here. However, this right here is a strong reversal as well. This is the direct reversal off of this uptrend playing out. So this downtrend, it needs to play out. We need to see a couple attempts at a new low in order to get long here. And so we get that. We get those 2 attempts, but it's not off of any support. The only support it's off of is this measured move. And considering it's a direct reversal, I would want to see it off of other support as well. And it's just below the EMA. It's not worth entering into. But after we get this sharp push up here, it does look fine to get in on it, because we're getting the failure. The downtrend has a break. We have 2 attempts at a new low, and we're active on that failure. And so we can look to get in on this leg up here. And so, I would have no problem entering, even though it's already getting past those highs, because you have this measured move in play. It's a clearly strong failure here, or not failure. It's a strong test of this level, and then we get the strong new low failure right here. And so by the time that this bar closes, that's when I like entering. So as you can see, this was a no fill. After this bar closed, that's when I tried to get in here. But I wanted to get in at a decent price. I didn't want to push it too far past these highs, even with this, measured move. But then it just pushed on through, so I canceled. So sometimes, it's good to go in with a limit order every now and then. It'll be very close to the target, but then you'll still get a fill, and it's still valid, and you can look to get in on it. But, in this case here, it just took off. So nothing there, and then we get that retest. So we do end up getting that 2-legged retest like I was kind of wanting, except for the fact that it tested this strong level here, which turned me off to going short. Because when price held right here, it's just pretty clear. The bulls are winning out. It's an uptrend. It's basically, just holding bullish all day so far. Even after this uptrend played out, we had a strong reversal failure. And so I don't want to enter short right after that reversal failure. Ideally, we get that 2-legged retest on the reversal, not after the reversal fails. So that's why I don't like going short on this 2-legged retest of this level here, which, that's like a perfect retest too. I wanted to see that before we had a reversal failure. So anyway, because we just don't know how far it's going to go here. We don't know if we're going to get a full second leg down. It's just we're much more likely to get a better short had we not gotten this retest right there. So anyway, we get this push lower here. Now, after it gets below the EMA, and if it's really showing that it's a strong reversal, we can look to get short on a reversal pattern on a failed second entry. We just don't get that. It pushes down to here, immediately spikes back above the EMA, and then forms a small failed second entry to the long side. So when this pushes up here, it's pretty clear. We're starting the second leg up. I'm going to remove these just for the sake of decluttering. And you can see this is our first leg up. We have a break, and this is our second leg up. And we are just getting in on that second leg up, getting out around this swing high right here for 1-to-1. Nearly that measured move was met. Good reaction to the EMA, just looking to get in with the reversal failure. So we continue up here. It reaches this level again. We actually find support into this level, and we slightly get above here. And it was kind of iffy. I did enter into it, but it had already gotten above, and it was basically just from a hold on this EMA. It was cutting it, but considering how bullish it was with that measured move in play, I didn't mind entering into it. And, overall, it was just so bullish at this point that I wasn't going to let this bother me. If it had rejected it, like say that price rejected it right here and then formed this exact thing, then I wouldn't like it because that's a clear rejection. But since it spiked on through with this up measured move in play, I figured it'd be perfectly fine to ride to the other side, basically treating this like the midline. It's not quite in the middle, but that's kind of how it was acting considering it got above. So that's why I didn't mind entering into that. It was just so bullish. Getting in on that second leg, we already got the bullish reaction to the EMA, just looking to ride it to the other side of the chop. And then as soon as it reaches the other side, then we plummet out. Price attempts to reverse, and it does not succeed. Again, we were getting very bullish at this point. Price spikes up. We have another chance to get in on something with this range low here if we can get a couple legs back, retesting it with room to the other side. But we don't get that. It just spikes on through the highs. Small correction, couple attempts to a new high, reaching this measured move. So overall, this uptrend right here has a break. This is our first leg to a new high, and then this is our second leg to a new high, and it ends up going way past that measured move, reaching this much larger measured move, this orange measured move that's in play. And as soon as it reaches it, we start getting this reversal attempt. It goes quite a bit through there. And so when price starts pushing lower, what we'd want to see is a clear failed second entry. That'd be our only way to get short, but we would need to consider possible wider trend lines. So at the moment, obviously, this is all within the channel. We would want to see it break the channel and then get, with those two attempts to retest this measured move level, that would include the two attempts at a new high for the break of the uptrend. So just to be clear on what I'm saying here, I'm going to draw it. There we go. Draw it out a bit. So what we have, or what I'd like to see, I should say, is a failed second entry. So this uptrend would get a break. First attempt at a new high, second attempt at a new high, failure. And it doesn't have to be retesting this. If it's holding under the EMA, well, then we can get in on that as well. But another thing that's common to see is a two-legged retest of this of the previous measured move level. So push lower, a couple legs back, retesting it. That's particularly common to see if it pierces through the level. If we got a direct rejection to the tick, then we wouldn't necessarily want to see a retest all the way up there, because then it'd be making a double top, which could very easily count as a count reset. And so then we need to wait on another failed second entry from there. So if it pierces through a large measured move level, then it's better to get the retest directly on the level, because it's still below. You're still getting the lower high, and it's just another retest of a strong level. So that's why I'd like to see that. But in this case here, price ends up pushing up. We continue with this channel here, and then we get this two-legged move down. So it barely broke right there, so I don't really view it as a two-legged break. Technically, on a small price action level, it is a two-legged break because it does break right there. But really, the break is on this leg, because that basically held, it got back in, and then started the second leg down. But we got a perfect reaction to this measured move, and then after we make this higher low above this orange measured move, above this orange measured move level, that's when I like to get in and write it up to the overnight high. So basically, the uptrend got a break. We can expect prices to at least attempt a new high, and we got above the EMA. We held above the orange level here right after this measured move was met, continuing with the overall bullishness of today, getting out just before that resistance level, the overnight high. And as soon as price reaches it, it spikes on through, immediately starts attempting to reverse. This is an area that we could get a fade failure. If we get two clear attempts to fade with a strong hold, then we can look to buy the breakout. We don't want to just buy the breakout as soon as it starts breaking out here, because they tend to fade back in, just like you're seeing here. But if you get two attempts to fade, then you can look to get in on a fade failure. It just doesn't happen here. We get our first leg down, and then our second leg down brings us back into the overnight session, underneath the overnight high. And so we have these two legs down here, which, price reaches it, gets choppy around that area. Also, of course, retesting this orange measured move level, it just gets choppy. I didn't really see anything that I particularly liked. It did get above the EMA here, but then immediately got under it and then rejected it. Excuse me. And so, it just too sideways. I didn't like anything in that. Also, right into that measured move level. So I just didn't see anything great here. It was all very sideways, so I skipped everything in here. But we continue out. We get this spike up. Price attempts to reverse off the overnight high, fails, continues up, and we break back out. And then we get this much larger two-legged retest. And so, whoops, I didn't mean to grab that there. So yeah, this right here, it came back quite a bit, which I didn't like to see, but every now and then that happens. I did see that there was this in play. There was this trend line here. I figured it was very bullish at this point. It had been bullish all day, and we're getting a good retest of the overnight high. I figured it's fine to enter into that and just get out at these highs. It did end up having a pretty significant reaction to it, though. We got two attempts to reverse as soon as it met that trend line, and it did fail. We continue up, went through the target. I just wanted to get out before this high. That's my main concern there, because it was getting pretty sideways. The EMA was basically flat, and I just I didn't want to push it through that. So anyway, price nearly came to my stop here, but it ends up pushing up. We continue up, and then we overshoot this channel right here, which, to be honest, I did get this channel a bit late. I actually got it after this trade, which it wouldn't have affected my thoughts on the trade. It is off of those highs, but we have our two attempts to reverse, and we have a strong hold off of the overnight high there. So anyway, price continues up. We break out, or I should say overshoot. We overshoot the channel, and then we get these two attempts to reverse. Now, I was actually away from the chart when this happened, but I don't particularly like it, because we just make this brand new high, and we have 2 attempts to reverse, and you're just entering right into the new highs. Um, what I wanted to see was just a better entry further back, able to get out closer to these highs. I don't mind pushing it a bit out, but I didn't want to enter like expecting it to make a full, let me just draw this. I didn't want to expect it to make like another range equivalent pushing out, which it wasn't quite that much, but I wanted to enter way lower than that. Again, I didn't see this in the moment, but I would have wanted to enter that way lower. So I don't like that particular there, but we push on up, we continue with the uptrend, and then we get this 2-legged correction with an entry right at the trend line and right at the EMA. And that's why I like this one so much here, which, let me just draw this out. I did have to push it a bit out of that, but it's not like I'm expecting it to fully make that second up. But the main point is that we're getting in at a much better price, able to go for 10 ticks. I would not really want to do that entering this high. So, if you could have got filled with a limit order, then I do like this, but it looks like you're not going to be getting filled very low. So I just don't like this area here. Again, I didn't see that in the moment. So anyway, price continues up here, and we, as soon as it makes that new high, it just kind of went into a range, as you can see. So we push up. Let's see what price has done here. This all, of course, happened while I'm making the video. So we go sideways here, and then as soon as it reaches the trend line, it breaks out. So we push lower. So this uptrend now has a break. This is our first attempt at a new high. This is our second attempt at a new high. Price attempts to reverse. We get a short-term failure. And let me just explain all of this. So I'm going to re-explain this area. So after the break, these are our 2 attempts at a new high, right? And then we get these 2 attempts to reverse. You can see our first leg is from the high of this bar to the low of this red bar. And then we get a correction. That's our break. And then we get our second attempt to reverse. So this is our first leg down. And then this is our second leg down, separated by that green bar. And then after these 2 attempts to reverse, it failed. As soon as that failure happens, you have to combine the 2 previous legs. And so what you do is you drag it like that. It might not look totally natural, but that is how you have to do it. After 2 legs up occur, and you get 2 attempts to reverse and it fails, you combine the previous legs, copy them over, and then this is our new 2-legged move, our bigger picture 2-legged move. So an uptrend right here, break, I should point out here, 2-legged break, and then first attempt at a new high, second attempt, and then a stronger failure. So after these initial 2 attempts up here, we got a failure, and then after we got the bigger 2 legs up, we got a bigger failure. So it all corresponds in size with the structure it's in. So anyway, let me draw this out here. You can see we have this first leg down, and then this is our second leg down starting from here. Again, this is a downtrend, and then these 2 legs up are the correction. So downtrend right here, 2-legged break, and then first leg to a new low, and it successfully makes that new low. So making a great second entry right there. Not saying I would necessarily enter on that, but it's making a perfect measured move and then continuing higher. So that's why, these measured move levels are very important to understand. And yeah, so I'm going to draw this. There's clearly some kind of interior range there. And yeah, we could push up, get a couple legs back pretty soon. I mean, I might even be able to get another trade if it sets up fast. But yeah, so we're pushing up. I'd like to see a couple legs back down, make a failed second entry. We can look to ride it to the other side of this range. I would want to get out before these highs. I mean, this is just too obvious to ignore. So yeah, especially with it just being, brand new highs, you want to be cautious whenever it's really starting to stack up. It looks like the bulls just might be out of momentum, but who knows? It could end up continuing higher. If we do spike above here and make a new high, so uptrend, 2-legged break, new high. If we get 2 attempts to reverse with a good hold above this level here, then we can get in on a reversal failure and continue higher again. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I really appreciate you all watching, and thanks. I'll see you all tomorrow.